Hey there, you're watching the Daily Dispatch. Thank you for tuning in. Today I'm starting a new backpacking series, and it's going to focus on the best backpacking accessories. We're not talking tents, we're not talking backpacks or sleeping bags. That kind of information is out there in abundance. I want to focus on the littler stuff, or the more specific things that you may not have thought about that can really make or break a backpacking trip, in my opinion. Now, this series is not focused on the thru hikers or the gram weenies or those kinds of people, and believe me, I'm not an insult, I can be that kind of person as well. This is focused more on the weekend warrior, the person who's going to go out and do a 20 or 30 mile hike over 2 or 3 days, and really, if you get up and out, you're going to be at camp by 12, 1 or 2, so comfort at camp is almost, if not more important, than as comfort on the trail. And with that being said, the first one I want to talk about is my favorite absolute backpacking accessory, period, outside of my major, the tent and that sort of thing. This is probably the item that I use most on the trail, the Therma-A-Rest Z Lite. Yes, I said accessory. I don't sleep on this thing. I actually think as a sleeping pad, for me, it's terrible. But as an accessory, it's fantastic. It weighs 10.6 ounces. I know. 10.6 ounces for a sleeping pad that I don't sleep on. Sounds crazy, but just let me at least make the argument. Number one, obviously, first and foremost, if we come to a break, if we go to stop, take a break, I just lay this sucker out and I lay down and it's great. If we come to a bald spot on the top of a mountain, just lay out for 30 minutes, watch the clouds, have a snack. It's fantastic. I can double it up like this. You can't even feel the ground. You can, it's super comfortable. I almost feel like and it's long enough that I can lay it on the ground and back up against a tree or a rock and replicate kind of 80 to 90% of the comfort of just a basic backpacking chair that weighs twice as much. So for half that 10 ounces, I get most of the comfort of a chair. Secondly, in the same vein, if I lay this thing out in the vestibule of my tent, it's just that much more comfortable to get in and out. It protects my knees. I know it sounds crazy, but if we're on particularly sketchy ground, without that being there, if if I wanted to go get something out of the tent, I'm like, I'll wait until I need to go get my food. But with that being down, it just is super comfortable to get in and out. Thirdly, probably goes without saying, but it's a spare sleeping pad. I've never had an unfixable leak on trail, but my friend has, and I was able to loan this to him, and he was able to at least get a decent night's sleep. And it's only a matter of time before that happens to me as well. And in the wintertime, I feel like I don't have to upgrade from their names are crazy, from the X Lite to the X Therm, which is 4 ounces. So really, in the wintertime, I just put this underneath the X Lite, and I get pretty close to the R value of the X Therm, or at least for me, I shouldn't say that. I actually don't know what R value is. I'm plenty comfortable in around 20-degree weather, which is about the coldest that we ever sleep in, with this underneath an X Lite in my quilt. It sounds kind of weird, but it's a fantastic gear organizer. All I do now is when I'm putting everything out, I carry a lot of stuff. I have the camera stuff, I've got the electronics chargers, the battery chargers stuff. I just lay this out on the ground. Nothing comes out of my tent without getting laid on this, and that way I can't forget anything. I'm sure I'll forget something now that I've said that on my next trip. It'll roll off. But before I used to pull it all out, either have to lay it on the ground or just stuff it in my backpack to make sure I wouldn't forget anything. But then it's not in a good order. I'm just kind of particular with that kind of stuff. And so laying this out, it just creates this fantastic organizational thing. And then I'm able to put things in my backpack as I see fit. For me particularly, it serves as a drone landing pad and takeoff pad. I'm able to put it down, kind of pat the grass down or like an uneven ground with rocks, lay this down, and fly the drone in places that I wouldn't otherwise be able to. Legal places only, of course. What else? It may seem stupid, but it keeps my pack upright. In the carrying straps on the back, as soon as I set it down, it's basically impossible for my pack to fall over. That's just a neat side benefit. It's not why I carry it, but it's certainly a benefit. You could carry something lighter. Gossamer Gear makes this thin light. I think it weighs 2 ounces. I haven't weighed it in a while, but honestly, I hate this thing. It's not comfortable enough to really keep me off the rocks. It absorbs water. The water on this, carrying it outside of my pack, the water and dirt on this just sheds off. You can spray it down with a hose when you get home and it just dries out. This thing absorbs water, it absorbs dirt. It's not really thick enough to really protect my knees. It's not really thick enough to lay on anything but the nicest ground. I just don't like it. It would serve the gear organization. It would serve a little bit extra comfort, but I would rather just, like I said, for the type of trips that I'm normally doing, I would rather carry the Z Lite as opposed to that thin light pad. Now, what could I do? This thing is 10 panels, it weighs 10 ounces. I could cut a few of these off. I've thought about it many times. I probably will eventually, or I'll own several. They're not very expensive, of different lengths for depending on the trip. But for the kind of trip I'm going on, if you're a weekend warrior and you're doing 6, 8, 10 miles a day and you're gonna be fishing half the day and that sort of thing, I highly recommend you think about carrying the Z Lite as an accessory, not your pad, on your next trip. And let me know what you think. And if you have any recommendations for accessories that we should be talking about, or what are your favorite backpacking accessories, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Until next time, go have some fun outside. See you soon.